Have you ever felt a tiny twinge in your chest and your brain slammed the red alarm button? A hiccup, a flutter, a pinch behind the eye, and suddenly your hands are cold, your heart is racing, and your search history says severe disease symptoms. You tell yourself you're being rational. You just want to be safe, but the more you check, the more your body screams. You try to calm down, and it makes it worse. Why does a small sensation turn into a storm? What's happening to you and how do you stop it? Viktor Frankl would say, "You are not broken, you are meaningful. Even this fear is meaningful." And when you find the right place to stand, the panic loses its grip. Let's start where you are. Maybe this morning you felt a strange pressure in your throat. You swallowed, then swallowed again, testing. You put a hand on your pulse, counting. Part of you knew you were safe, but another part whispered, "What if you're missing something? What if this is the start?" So you opened your phone and started searching. 10 minutes later, your body felt like a siren. The world shrank to one corridor. Body threats can search repeat. Sound familiar? Frankl, the psychiatrist who survived the camps and built logotherapy, would gently place a hand on that corridor and say, "This is a meaning crisis wearing a medical mask." He's not saying symptoms aren't real. He's saying our relationship to our sensations is shaped by the meaning we give them. In health anxiety, the meaning is danger. Every neutral signal becomes evidence of catastrophe. The problem isn't that you feel too much. It's that the meaning has narrowed to one target, your body's alarms. Frankl called this hyper-reflection, staring so hard at a thing that it swells into a monster. And then hyper-intention, trying so hard to be calm, safe, okay, that your very effort tenses the system and chases calm away. Think of it like trying to fall asleep. The harder you try, the further sleep runs. Calm, like sleep, is something that ensues. It arrives when your attention is not strangling it. Frankl called the remedy dereflection, shifting attention from the self away, from the tight loop of checking and fearing toward a task, a person, a purpose beyond the self. Not escaping your life, but re-entering it. But first, we need to honor something. Your fear is trying to protect you. You learned somewhere that vigilance equals safety. Maybe someone you love got sick out of the blue. Maybe a doctor once shrugged, "It's nothing," and it wasn't. Maybe you grew up in a home where checking was how you avoided pain. Your scanning isn't stupidity. It's loyalty and nervous system's way of saying, "I won't let you be blindsided." That loyalty deserves respect, and it needs new marching orders. So let's decode the loop. A small sensation appears. Your mind assigns catastrophic meaning. Your nervous system surges. The body adds new sensations, adrenaline, tightness, speed. Your mind takes those as confirmation. You search. You get a hit someone who had a symptom like yours, and it was terrible. Your brain thinks, "Aha." You check again. For a second you feel relief. And then you feel another sensation. Back into the loop. Notice how the loop feeds itself, and notice how it feeds on meaning. Frankl's lens is simple and ruthless. Life is asking you something in this moment. What is it? Is it asking you to become the perfect manager of every heartbeat? Or is it asking you to become responsible for something greater than your alarm system? He liked to flip the question we all ask, "What do I expect from life?" into the question life asks, "What does life expect from me today, in this body, with this fear?" When that question returns, the loop loosens. Let's ground this in practice. First, name the pattern out loud, gently. Not as a fight, but as an orientation. My brain is running a safety drill. Thank you for trying to protect me. Notice the shift. You are no longer trapped inside the drill. You're the one watching it happen. That tiny move is freedom. Frankl believed the space between stimulus and response holds our power to choose. Naming the drill opens that space. Second, bring your attention to one useful, concrete thing outside your body. Not to escape the sensation, but to give it an honest rival for your focus. Make tea and focus on the steam curling. Wipe the kitchen counter slowly, aligning your breath with your hand. Step outside and describe the sky in a sentence that would make someone else see it. This is dereflection in action, not running away, but turning outward, toward a task that matters, however small. Your nervous system speaks the language of attention. Translate on purpose. Third, time box your reassurance. Health anxiety eats hours. Set a gentle but firm boundary. If I still feel this in 30 minutes, I will check my pulse once. If it persists for 2 days or is severe, I will call a doctor. Until then, I will live this half hour on purpose. You are not banning safety. You are choosing responsibility. You are training your mind that safety is served by meaning, not by endless checking. This isn't recklessness, it's order. Fourth, for the symptoms that run on adrenaline racing heart, trembling, air hunger, try a Frankl move that feels strange at first. Paradoxical intention. Invite the thing you fear. Heart, go ahead, race faster. Show me your best. Breath, get shakier. Let's see what you've got. Why would anyone do that? Because fear is a glue. It keeps the alarm stuck. When you invite the sensation, you snap the glue. You remove the belief that it must not happen. The cycle loses oxygen. Athletes know this when they lean into a side stitch, breathe into it, and it fades. People with insomnia learn to say, "Fine, tonight I'll stay awake, let it be," and sleep comes because the chase is over. Paradoxical intention tells your nervous system, we're not at war. And when the war ends, the soldiers go home. Of course, there are lines. If you have new, severe, or concerning symptoms, you seek medical care. That's not anxiety, that's wisdom. This is not medical advice. It's a way to reclaim your mind from a false alarm when appropriate. And the more you practice it on small alarms, the less likely the big ones will hijack you. There's another dimension to health anxiety that Frankl saw clearly. He called it the existential vacuum, hollowness that creeps in when life's meaning is vague. When the soul is hungry, the self fixates on something concrete to control. The body is the most immediate thing we have, so emptiness becomes scanning. Boredom becomes monitoring. Lack of purpose becomes I must feel safe. But meaning doesn't live in the mirror. It lives where you lay down your attention for the sake of something beyond you. The moment we commit to a cause, a craft, or a person, the vacuum fills with air. The need to micromanage the body eases because the body has a job again. So ask a small, brave question. What responsibility, tinny, but real, can I take today that matters to someone besides my fear? Frankl named 3 paths to meaning. Through creating what you bring into the world. Through experiencing what you take in with reverence, like beauty, love, and nature. And through attitudes, the stance you choose when circumstances can't change. Health anxiety often narrows all 3. It shrinks what you create, it spoils what you experience, and it kidnaps your attitude. But the reverse is also true. A single, deliberate act in any of these 3 areas can widen your life again. Create something, even if it's small and imperfect. Send a thoughtful message to a friend you've avoided because you're tired of talking about fear. Write a paragraph toward that idea that matters to you. Repair something in your home with care. Experience something with your full attention, a song you love without multitasking, the sunlight on a crack in the sidewalk, the sound of your child playing in the other room. And choose an attitude explicitly. Tell yourself, if this sensation stays with me all day, I will still keep this promise. I will show up for my shift. I will cook dinner. I will speak kindly to a stranger. This is not denial. This is dignity. Frankl called this tragic optimism, the courage to say yes to life in spite of pain, loss, or fear. It's not a slogan, it's a practice. In the camps he noticed something. The people who survived in spirit were often those who held a why that was larger than any when. They took on small tasks. They protected someone weaker. They held an image of a person they loved, or a book they needed to finish. Meaning didn't erase suffering. It gave suffering a shape that could be carried. Your fear is not Auschwitz. And it doesn't need to be minimized to be answered by the same principle. A reason to take the next step. So let's walk through a real moment. It's afternoon. You're in a meeting, and suddenly there's a buzzing in your left arm. A quick shiver runs through you. Your mind whispers, this could be serious. You want to check. You want to Google. Instead, you name it. Safety drill. You thank your brain. You bring your eyes to the person speaking. You decide, for the next 5 minutes, I will capture one useful idea from this meeting. You write that idea down. The buzzing rises, then it wobbles. You try a quiet, paradoxical intention. Buzz more, if you like. Nothing to fight. The meeting continues. At the end, you go for a brief walk without your phone. You feel the air, the sound of traffic, a dog tugging its owner. When you get home, you spend 10 minutes chopping vegetables, slowly, like it's a ritual. By evening, the alarm is not gone, but it's not your boss anymore. You chose. Let's be honest. Some days it won't be that easy. Sometimes your system is so sensitized that the slightest spark creates a fire. That's okay. We practice on the easy days so the hard days find us prepared. And we build a life with meaning so fear isn't the only thing with a microphone. You can even formalize a meaning roster. 3 things that matter to you that you will do in tiny fragments each day. 1 creative act, 1 experiential act, 1 attitudinal act. It could be a single line of a poem, a 2-minute walk noticing 1 color, and 1 sentence of kindness to yourself when fear rises. That's an anti-vacuum protocol. You're feeding your soul before the alarm does. Here's a counterintuitive truth Frankl would grin at. When you stop trying to be calm, calm comes nearer. When you stop trying to be perfectly safe, safety becomes less fragile, because you stop hinging your peace on a perfect body. Instead, you hinge it on a purpose that can survive a faster heartbeat. Fear loses leverage when your life is not negotiable. There's an old story of a man learning to ride a bicycle on a narrow path. He kept staring at the ditch, telling himself, don't fall in, don't fall in, and of course he drifted toward it. The instructor said, stop looking at the ditch. Look at where you want to go. Dereflection is that on the level of the soul. Your ditch is an endless scroll of symptoms. Where do you want to go? Toward the person you love, toward the words you want to write, toward the neighbor who could use your help, toward the skill you're itching to learn. Aim your gaze. The body follows the eyes. You might ask, what if I really am sick? That fear stalks every health-anxious mind. Frankl's answer is both comforting and fierce. If illness comes, your meaning doesn't end. It changes its address. He wrote that even in unchangeable suffering, meaning remains possibilist through the attitude we take. Many people find that once they face a genuine diagnosis, the noise falls away. Life becomes vivid, not smaller. They call their brother. They paint the wall yellow. They pick the book they will finish this spring. Health anxiety steals that vividness while you are still okay. Tragic optimism says, bring the vividness back now. Live as if you've already decided what matters. Ironically, this makes you more resilient if something truly does arise. Let's talk about your phone for a minute. The glow at 3 a.m., the forum threads, the worst-case blogs. This is hyper-reflection's playground. Try a simple limit. Create a folder called Storm Tools with 3 things only: a grounding practice you trust, a saved note that says safety drill, I will review in the morning, and a photo that returns you to love or beauty, a child laughing, a place you stood and felt alive. When you wake to the pang and the urge to search, open the note instead. Read it like it's a promise. Then, practice paradoxical intention under the covers. Okay mind, spin out the worst for 1 minute. Go as wild as you want. Often, when fear is invited to shout, it gets shy. Then roll back to your breath and lengthen the exhale. Calm is a guest. Make the bed for it, don't drag it by the ankle. You can also use the body in your favor. Not to chase sensations, but to offer the nervous system you love a path out of the tree. Tremor your legs in place to let adrenaline discharge, then stop and notice the after tingle, saying, that's energy leaving. Put one hand on your chest and one on your belly and say, thank you for working so hard. Speak to your body like you would to a loyal dog that barks too loud. It wants to help, it just needs a leader. A quick pause, hear what symptom does your mind fixate on the most, and what tiny act of meaning could rival it today. If this perspective is helping, subscribe so you don't miss our next Frankl deep dive. It genuinely supports this work. Let's return to the core. Responsibility. Frankl believed freedom is not the last word. Responsibility is. We are free to choose, yes, but we are summoned to answer. Who needs you today? Maybe it's a friend who hears your presence and relaxes. Maybe it's a project that's been waiting for you, like a plant thirsting on a windowsill. Maybe it's your future self, who will inherit the habits you practice tonight. Choose one, write it down. That's your purpose appointment. When the twinge comes, say, I hear you, and I'm going to my appointment. This isn't magical thinking, it's a fulcrum. Meaning is leverage against fear. One of Frankl's patients had crippling stage fright. He tried everything to control his sweating and stammering and failed. Frankl told him to walk on stage and aim to sweat as much as possible, to stammer with pride. The man laughed at the absurdity and the loop broke. He stopped making calm the condition of his life. He made life the condition of calm. Health anxiety asks you to do something similar. The next time your heart flutters, dare to say, more, please. The moment you stop obeying the fear, you become bigger than it. Not bravado, just quietly bigger, because now you have something to do that matters more. Imagine a day redesigned for this. Morning, you wake, notice your body scanning, and put words to it. Safety drill. You sit up, put your feet on the floor, and choose a 2-minute task of meaning. You water a plant and watch the soil darken. You send a good morning message to someone lonely. You write a single sentence toward a goal. Afternoon, a sensation appears. You time box your reassurance and return to the responsibility you chose. You give your attention like a gift. Evening, you step outside and let your senses feast for 3 minutes. Colors, distant sounds, the smell of rain on dust. You make dinner simply, not as a test of perfection, but as a ritual of care. Night, the urge to search rises. You open your storm tools, read your note, and tell your fear, 1 minute to say everything, then you resume your breath. You thank your body for trying to protect you. You sleep, not because you achieved perfect calm, but because you weren't required to. Does this mean you will never spiral again? No. The point isn't to build a life where nothing goes wrong. The point is to live a life that goes on. Frankl would remind you that meaning isn't fragile. It doesn't need everything quiet to exist. It thrives in the noise, because meaning is a human stance, not a favorable forecast. Even a storm becomes a setting for a promise kept. You might feel a protest in you. I've tried focusing outward. The fear drags me back every time. Of course, it doesn't first. Dereflection is a muscle. Each rep counts. And there's a second layer most of us skip. We try to face outward without choosing what's outward. Vague meaning can't compete with specific fear. Pick something with a name. I'm cooking soup for my neighbor who's grieving. I'm drafting the first page of my story. I'm learning the first chord of a song. The more precise your meaning, the less oxygen your anxiety steals. Frankl loved to tell of people who endured hardship by holding an exact image, a face, a future scene, a line they would one day speak. If you like, choose one now. Picture yourself a month from today, telling someone, I still get twinges. They come and go, but I'm living. I'm making things. I'm showing up. I've stopped letting my heart be the boss. See their eyes soften. See yours do the same. There's a final piece we haven't touched. Respect. Health anxiety can make you feel ashamed. You might think other people get sick and are brave. I'm here panicking at a pulse. Be kind. Fear is not a moral failure. It's a nervous system misreading. Frankl's genius was giving people back their dignity, not by telling them they were fine, but by showing them they were responsibly bold to respond to life. You are more than a scanner. You are someone life needs. Your fear is loud because your care is deep. Aim that care outward. If you want a mantra to carry, try this. I am not here to be perfectly safe. I am here to be faithfully alive. When the buzz comes, when the web calls, when the dizziness whispers, answer with that line. Then do the next small act that matches it. Over time, your brain will learn. We don't buy peace by checking. We build peace by choosing. So, when the next twinge arrives in, it will slow down. Name the drill. Thank your body. Set a boundary around reassurance. Invite the sensation if it's safe to do so. Turn outward to a task with a name. Experience one thing like it's the only thing. Choose your attitude on purpose. And then walk through your day with a quiet, stubborn tenderness. Not because the fear is gone, but because you have decided who you are in its presence. That is the gift Frankl gave us. The freedom to say yes to life, even here, especially here. One day soon, you'll notice something different. You'll feel the familiar flutter, and instead of bracing, you'll shrug. You'll return to your work, or your child's story, or the rhythm of your steps. You'll think, I don't have to fix this to be me, and in that ordinary moment, you will be free. Not because your body is silent, but because your meaning is louder. Let's end with this. Imagine you are holding your younger self's hand in a hospital corridor. They're scared. The lights are too bright. The smell too clean. You don't tell them, don't be scared. You say, I'm here. We're going to do what we came to do. And afterward, we'll go outside and feel the wind. That's what you can do for yourself today. Be here. Do what you came to do. Go feel the wind. And if your heart races on the way, smile gently and say, do your dance, I'll do mine.